Could you tell me briefly about your past history in sourcing venture funding?
I've never done it before. So BlogHer is the 4th startup I've worked in, but it's the first time that I've been involved in actively leading the venture funding. I've been on executive teams where I was part of a pre-IPO workup or helped describe and pitch the company. But this has really been a first.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And Elisa Camelhort-Page and Jory Desjardins, my co-founders, have of course been extremely involved.
Brilliant, brilliant. And was it challenging for you? Was there anything that stood out that was difficult or challenging or easy?
You know, what I am really grateful for is that in 1997, when I left the traditional newsroom, I left CNN for the internet. I was at Web TV for 6 months, and then I was at women.com for 4 years. From the CNN time, I've actually been making boardroom arguments for quality content and quality programming. So my first experience with a budget was not pitching this company. I've been working with multi-million dollar programming and production budgets, some international, some domestic. So it was a natural progression of falling in love with how to build the business around what we're so passionate about here. But of course the VC mindset on mission-driven business is very different. So that was valuable learning.
Okay, so it sounds like you had great experience to go into that venture.
But I don't have an MBA.
Okay, so you were aware of that when you were pitching.
Yeah.
So what personal lessons, being a woman, have you taken out of your successes and or failures in this regard?
You know, I have to tell you, my successes, I think, have everything to do with the fact that Elisa, Jory, and I built the business and bootstrapped it for 2 years and then went out for venture funding. So we made that decision because we had all worked for startups. Between us, we probably worked for 15 different startups. And we found that the companies that we worked for that were able to stay closer and do a better job at assuming their business goals were ones that did not have venture-driven or investor-driven short-term incentives.
Wow, that's interesting feedback.
We wanted to marathon. So what we did in 2005, held our first conference, invited women who blog to come, suddenly learned that there was this pent-up demand by women for services around social media, people who wanted recognition and revenue. We built a series of businesses aimed at helping women and men make money from their work in social media according to the editorial guidelines that they were excited to uphold. Great writers, great revenue. Well, the key and interesting point to this was the fact that we said, we want to build the community first. We want to do something unique. We want to build a business that is aimed at asking the user what she wants and then developing for-profit businesses around what she wants. Instead of traditional media, let's build this shiny thing, market the heck out of it, and scrape a razor-thin margin.
So really this is the new way of doing business in startups, isn't it? Really listening to the user first.
It totally changed the dynamics in our conversations with potential investors to walk in and say, we have a 6-figure revenue stream, pent-up demand from thousands of users that we can't meet and thousands of sponsors that we can't meet unless we invest the capital needed to take this to the next level.
Very good.
Totally different conversation.
Great way to sell it.
We were very sleep deprived. We thought it was a good idea. We were sleep deprived enough to be ready to go and do it.
That's brilliant. What a great success. What attitudes towards you being female have you noted from venture capitalists when you've been sourcing venture? Obviously, they would have liked you because you already had a great business.
Right. You know, I have to tell you, my immediate response to that question is, I'm not a mind reader. I have never been in a business meeting while raising venture capital where I received any kind of a comment about my gender.
That's so great, isn't it?
This is 2010. We've been raising funding after 2005. We already had a business. We already knew leading women in the Valley like Ann Winblad and Katarina Fake and Charlene Lee, and we had been around the block, and we were treated like people who had a hot business that lots of people were interested in. The fact that we are chicks actually did not play a role. But what's
That's so
interesting
great.
is that it's a women's-oriented business.
Yes.
And in 1990s...
You were targeting the right market.
Right? But when I left the mainstream newsroom in
Yes.
1997
Yes.
for the web, people were saying women will never go online.
Oh,
And
no.
when I went to women.com, plenty of people were saying, that's crazy. You know,
Yeah.
women are never going to go online. Women are never going to code. That attitude disappeared by
Fantastic.
2007 when we were funding. But it's been that's a long 10 years.
Yes, yeah.
And
yeah. But isn't it great that to have seen that change and to have been there watching that change happen?
It was very encouraging.
Good work.
Yeah.
Good work. That's fantastic. What qualities do you think women entrepreneurs need specifically for sourcing venture?
I think that you need fantastic co-founders.
Right.
3 things. Number 1, you need fantastic co-founders. Number 2, you need to over-prepare the answers to your questions.
Yeah.
And number 3, you need to have actually begun to build your business without asking anyone for permission.
Yes, I've heard that quite a few times from different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how important it's actually turned out to be
Yeah.
the oldest child in a family of 4 kids, as Jory and Elisa are as well,
Yeah.
and have a lot of a cappella singing in my background. I was a super shy girl who then fell in love with music,
Yeah.
and I have spent a lot of time being nervous in front of crowds.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not a great singer, let's be clear. I was
Okay.
lucky enough to be in an a cappella group. And so now getting in front of 2, 3, 5, 10, 200, 2,000 people, I have to work myself up. But if I know the data cold and I've over-prepared,
Yeah.
talking about something I care this much about
Yeah.
is a natural.
Fantastic. So that was a really good background to the experiences
Yeah.
that you've had as an adult. That's wonderful. So, in your opinion then, what percentage of women would qualify as having those 3 qualities that you've specified? And can they be developed? And if so, what are your ideas about how this could happen?
I think that just as many women as men can develop those qualities. Confidence over preparation and building your business. I don't think it's a gender-linked trait. I think it is really important for some of the stereotypes I've read
Yes.
about women who are or aren't entrepreneurs, or about men who do or don't invest
Yes.
are kind of shocking.
Yes.
There are people using huge paint rollers to tar the entire venture capital community.
Great
and
image.
every
Thank
woman
you.
who's ever wanted to build a business.
Yes.
I mean, I love what Cindy Gallup said. She said women burn with the same intense desire to be entrepreneurs as men do.
Yes.
And I find that's totally true. My
Yes.
email's filled with women who want to do something every week,
Yes.
which is actually one of the reasons we're doing BlogHer's first Business Entrepreneurism and Technology Conference in
Yes.
March 2011.
Yes,
It's
yes.
to introduce all these services to women.
And I'm also hearing that your story, your personal story, is one of having to overcome impediments that would have held you back from sourcing venture. And so, in fact, really you're proving my question is that, of course, women can develop these qualities. You've done that. If you were shy when you were younger,
Sure.
you've actually changed that dynamic, and now you can get up in front of, hundreds of people, I would imagine, thousands of people, as well as venture capitalists. So I guess what I'm hearing by your story is that you have actually accomplished that so other women can too, correct?
Well, I will tell you, I absolutely refuse to let anything I'm scared of to get in the way of what I care so much about.
Okay.
And so that's an interesting task that anyone who's ever been shy has to
Yes.
overcome.
Yes.
Are you going to let your fear keep you from accomplishing your goal?
And do you have any advice for anyone around that? What secrets you've used, or what tricks you've used, or tips?
Great friends
Okay.
and co-founders, people who will literally sit you down and say, that was fantastic. You have to memorize that line. You have to say it again. Or you must not do the following things,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And
so honest feedback.
You
Yeah.
absolutely need people who are going to be honest champions. of what you're
Great.
doing. But also, you need a great deodorant. This is not easy. I'm sorry, but you've got to be
So
willing to
great.
fail.
Yeah.
What could be so bad?
Yeah. So
You know?
that's all that can happen, really.
5 out of 6 American businesses have a tough time sustaining profitability.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 startups never see a profitable quarter,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
What could be so bad?
Yeah.
You fail?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be better than never trying something that no one else has tried?
Fantastic.
It has to be.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much for that encouragement.